They're currently offering free, no obligation consultations to explore the ways they can help your business grow. Book your free consultation with Burton Sweet now. Call 01749 342255. Work smarter, not harder with Burton Sweet.
If you like great music, check out the Journalist Jukebox on Frome FM.
I've got a line missing at the bottom there. Do you have any idea what that is?
As much quality music as they can squeeze into a single hour. 8 p.m. Thursdays.
It's to beef up their laws relating to climate change, basically, or their laws leading to net zero.
The Rebellious Jukebox, presented by me, Julian Crawley. Sponsored by Frome and Warminster Record Shop, Raves from the Grave.
I keep telling everybody as was falling off, as was 90,000 and that's always those was 94.
Would you like to meet and talk about
nothing in the situation? Oh yeah. There's nothing in the constituencies. So 4th and 6th. You'd be in the same by-election, so...
Call us on 01377.
It was a waste of time.
Right, we're going in a couple of minutes, seconds.
Did you know that almost all of Frome FM's programmes are available to listen to on demand at Mixcloud? To listen to your favourite shows anytime you want to, just go to mixcloud.com/Frome FM or get the Mixcloud app on your phone and listen to Frome FM while you're on the go.
The next programme is pre-recorded. We still want to hear from you. Email studio at
Ooh lama, yeah, come follow me sing. Nkalapo, for environmental justice, Mother Nature is crying out. Let's start by stopping carbon dioxide emissions. Stop the destruction of the Amazon rainforest. We need natural oxygen to survive. Oh, na. Hear me now? Mother Nature is crying out for justice. Ooh.
Mother Nature is crying out for justice, Lord of mercy. Mother Nature is crying out for justice.
A clean and a greener planet for I and I.
A clean and a greener planet for all mankind. Aquatic lives are endangered in our ocean. Toxic waste dumping should stop.
Welcome to All About Frome. You've just heard a version of a song that was entered in the Climate Film Festival. The Climate Film Festival in Frome on Sunday, and we'll have more about that later. This is All About Frome, the show that, amongst other things, gives a voice to Frome's volunteer army, the hundreds of people who give their time and skills to help others in the town. I'm Rupert Kirkham, and today the theme is climate. And our guests are Martin Dimery, who's a local councillor and parliamentary candidate for the Green Party. Perspective, that is. Fiona Barrows, who's here to give us the rundown on the upcoming Big Green Week. And we start with James Godman, who's director of the aforementioned Frome International Climate Film Festival. So welcome to you all.
Thank you very much.
So, first of all, let me just say that if you want to butt in at any point on anybody else's part in this show, you're very welcome to do that. It's very relaxed. So, James, we've got this festival. It's the third time we've run it. Is that right?
Yes, we're in our third year and growing.
Yeah. Just tell us a little bit about when and where.
When and where? Okay, we're at the Cheese and Grain on the 19th of May. On the 18th, on the Saturday, we'll have an opportunity to watch local films as well. So on the Sunday, obviously preparations are progressing and we're all getting a little bit manic and stressed. But we hope we will be in there by 7 o'clock in the morning, get everything prepared, ready for the public at 9, and then we'll run through until 11:30.
So you say run through, what happens? What's going to happen?
We're just going to run through. We have films. So we have films to start off with. Around 60 films will be showing upstairs and downstairs in the main area of the Cheese and Grain. Then we've got a green tech zone area. Interestingly, we've got local companies coming along as well, reference to the work that they're doing in the green space, you know, to make more environmentally friendly materials and others. And then we've got an eco arts area to help people get more involved. We've got Barry Cooper. We've developed a 4-canvas earth that we're going to work on, hopefully with the schools and others and people who turn up. And then from there, we then have a break, a couple of hours then, and we have lots of green groups and others, and hopefully that links in well with Green Week, so we can get another gathering together, a green gathering where we can share information and communicate. Right.
So, I mean, that's a fantastic amount of stuff going on in one day. How do you get to go to it? Do you have to buy a ticket and stuff like that?
Well, you can go to Ticket Tailor, but like the other 3 festivals, it's free, because there should be no barriers to green change as far as we're concerned, and it's all about trying to connecting, sharing, supporting and helping people change. So it's free. We would love sponsors at the moment. I fund it. I'm the sponsor. But you know, we need to park that. We just need to carry on and do it, and let's build some momentum. And we know with 857 films this year from 47 countries, I think we're getting a bit of traction.
Now that is an amazing amount of films. I mean, it's unbelievable that in the 3rd year of a festival, which started off with I think 37 entries, we've now got over 800 entries from all over the world, and we use a website, don't we, called Film Freeway. Tell us how that works, and tell us also what range of films were sent in.
Okay, so at the end of the first festival we started in Frome Town Council with their support and other, which is another great event to kick things off. That then has then grown, as you say. 2nd year we're down at the back of the George in there, and now we're in the Cheese and Grain. So and somebody mentioned, I think it's Howard Vaugh's, local animator, mentioned, oh, why not use Film Freeway? Ah, okay then. I've submitted some films through that route before, and so off we went, opened it in November, so this is a global platform for all festivals, film festivals. Within the week we had 139 submissions.
That's
that
fantastic,
then
isn't it?
carried on until the 1st of April, and we had to close it at least. We had to do a week, a month, instead of leaving it fully open, otherwise we would have had probably 2,000 or 3,000 films.
So what sort of subjects? I mean, obviously it's a climate film festival, and as a judge myself, I noticed that quite a few films that I was asked to judge weren't anything to do with the climate, but they did have something to do with people's attitudes towards, climate change.
Yeah, and I think that's part of us learning about as well. So my broad view of climate and the environment is a very broad church, which is what it needs to be. It's how the environment impacts people in their daily lives, in their daily work, as it were, or not work. How they engage with nature, what's happening around them, what they see, what they hear. So that's probably why you get a very broad spectrum of films from around the world, because again, because it is at the moment perhaps a bit nebulous reference to the number and the size and the scale and what you personally, how it I guess reflects in your world and in your life.
Yeah, I mean, on that, are these entertaining films? Are they depressing? What sort of experience are we going to have if we come and watch some of these films on Sunday?
Right. So the film submitted has a huge, whatever spectrum you think of. There's quite a wide and varied and probably quite shocking in some circumstances. What we made sure, and what this festival is all about, is being positive. Every film is about positive. It's about a positive message. We're trying to create more pathways, educational pathways, to help people to change and to share knowledge to help change with others and to support change. So it isn't about doom. We have enough doom and gloom in our lives. I'm sorry, park all that. I don't want to know the latest temperature increase. I don't want the latest world breaking, whatever it might. Park it. Let's do things we can do ourselves and change and help change.
Is there enough going on in Frome to back all this up, do you think?
Oh, there's a huge amount going wherever you look. I was just looking at the notice board as I came into the council building, as it were, and it's almost competition for people to come along because there are so many different varied elements. But I think what we're trying to hopefully do with others like Green Week is, how do we bring that community together? How do we map it? So if I wake up in the morning and say I'd like to do something for the planet, instead of go down for a coffee or others first, where do I go? In the moment, I don't know. because I can't search. I can't search a database locally, globally, to do with, I'll go down and build a wall down here, I'll go and help such and such group here, I'll help this. So you have a message board, and that what hopefully again we'll try and do, and I'm sure working with the council and other groups, how do we map that and bring that to life for people so they can make a different decision when they wake up in the morning and go out the door? Okay, some of the films that were entered are very short and some of them are quite long. What, as a judge, I kind of took a bit of a nosedive when I saw a film at 1 hour 30 minutes, thinking, well, how quickly am I going to get the message in this film? You know, and so I think it's a very difficult thing to judge, actually. You know, because what categories are you judging? Because some people entered, you know, best director or best student director or best animation, or you know, so there were a lot of different categories. And the thing about Film Freeway is that it sets you up a sort of template where you look at the film and then you answer a series of questions about what you thought, and you know, it's to do with how good was the direction, how good was the sound, did you feel engaged, did it make you think about changing your lifestyle, you know, did it make you aware of climate change and so on. So all those categories had to be sort of ticked off, and then and they all get points. So at the end of the day, you end up with, you know, between 6 and 10 points for your film, and then that gets, you're asked to rate it. That's how the judging system works. But the key essence again, and I you know, the object of this festival is to be inclusive. It's to give everyone from picking their own phone up and putting something in, which is what we've had, through to professional filmmakers. It's all about climate, environment, and either helping those at the start of their career or doing it from a fun point of view to help them to develop and to progress. Then we, as part of this, we launched the Global Film Family, so we can give help and support, whether it's technical or whether it's, you know, inspiration from others around the world. So it's, yes, we've had a 38-second film and we've had a 2 hour 20 film. So, but I'm not sure I'm really, from my point of view, I don't think I'm allowed to stop it, and I shouldn't stop it, because it's their view. It's their view, it's their environment, it's their climate, it's what they want to, as creators, to share. And, you know, we've been in, people watching it, we've been in tears watching these films. The emotion, I mean, just, they're fantastic films. Yeah, absolutely inspiring. The acid test really is, does it affect you? Yeah. You know, and I think most of those that I saw anyway did. I mean, just extraordinary films. Let's just take a little diversion. We heard right at the beginning of the show a version of a song from Nigeria, which is actually a music video, and it's from a Nigerian writer, musician and filmmaker called Willie Workman, and he's a bit of a mover and shaker in Nigeria, and he has he's the son of a widowed Nigerian, and he founded a non-profit organisation called ADWEF, which aims to provide help and empowerment opportunities for widows across Nigeria. So he's a pretty motivated sort of guy, but he's also he's got like 3,000 members of this organisation, because I think widows are treated very badly across the board in Nigeria, and there's all sorts of horrendous stories about how they are treated once they lose their husbands. And so he's also a very powerful climate change advocate, and he's a man of many talents. So I just want to play you his song that he entered as a music video. Obviously we can't show you the video, but I will show it to you now, play it to you now.
Ulama, yeah. Nkalapo, yeah. For environmental justice, Mother Nature is crying out. Let's start by stopping carbon dioxide emissions. Stop the destruction of the Amazon rainforest. We need natural oxygen to survive. Oh, no, hear me now. Mother Nature is crying out for justice. Mother Nature is crying out for justice. Lord of mercy. Mother Nature is crying out for justice. Mother Nature is crying out for justice. Lord of mercy. A clean and a greener planet for I and I. A clean and a greener planet for all mankind. A clean and a greener planet for I and I. A clean and a greener planet for all mankind. Aquatic life are in danger in our ocean. Toxic waste dumping should stop. Plastic materials in our ocean. Let's change our ways to prevent further pollution. What a good life Mother Nature has given to mankind.
Yeah, one day, if you look around, Mother Nature is calling. Keep environment clean, cause this life is not funny. I believe in climate change. Let me this planet a greener, better place to live. What it does come together so that we can have a climate change agreement. Show love to Mother Earth so that we can fight climate change. That's the real life, real source, the real energy, the source that create life.
Threatening all mankind. Temperatures are rising. Glaciers are melting. Why mankind? Why oh why? I and I knows Mother Nature. Mother Nature's anger leads to catastrophes. Yeah, yo 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 yo. Mother Nature is crying out for justice. Mother Nature is crying out for justice. Lord of mercy. Mother Nature is crying out for justice. Mother Nature is crying out for justice. Lord of mercy. A clean and a greener planet for I and I. A clean and a greener planet for all mankind. A clean and a greener planet for I and I. A clean and a greener planet for all mankind. A clean and a greener planet for I and I. A clean and a greener planet for all mankind. A clean and a greener planet for I and I. A clean and a greener planet for all mankind.
Well, that was the entry by Willie Workman for the Climate Film Festival on Sunday. And if you were watching the Eurovision Song Contest over the weekend, I shouldn't laugh, it's a very serious event, you will have noticed that Switzerland won the prize. And they don't get in the news very often, Switzerland. I can't remember the last time I saw anything about Switzerland in the news, but they've certainly swept the board on the Eurovision Song Contest. And another thing that happened in Switzerland a couple of years ago, which has just come to fruition last month, is that in 2020 a group of women in Switzerland took their government to court. Last month they won the case, and here's what happened. The women became aware of research that showed climate change, especially hotter temperatures, were particularly dangerous for older women. They called their group the Klimatseniorinnen, and they ended up taking the case to the European Court of Human Rights. And the argument was that citizens had a human right to be protected from the adverse effect of climate change, and they needed to beef up their laws leading to net zero. And they're talking to the government here. Now, as Switzerland, their campaign was in 4 languages. And here they are explaining why they began the Klimatscenarien group.
Sagen, ich glaube eigentlich unseren Kindern und unseren Enkelkindern Zukunft. Alle kennen Klimajugend, aber wenige.
Translated, it means that so far young people have taken the lead in protesting about climate change, but we are the older women and we're taking the Swiss government to the Court of Human Rights on the 29th of March. The climate crisis is happening now. Jetzt, maintenant, adesso.
Le 20 mars, il 29 marzo, le 29 mars, nous ferons face au gouvernement suisse devant la Cour européenne des droits de l'homme à Strasbourg. Klimakrise ist schon jetzt, maintenant, jetzt, adesso. Es muss jetzt etwas gemacht werden. Adesso.
So that was from this month. Last month they won the case. James, going back to the Nigerian film, you'll be able to see that at the festival, will you?
Yes, we've got that scheduled in, probably upstairs, I think, because I don't think it will win an award. Looking at the judges' review,
you can't say that.
But I can't.
Okay.
Hopefully, the listeners won't spread that and spoil the. On the previous one, just so you know, Benjamin, who did the film for the Swiss group, again, their film won the best inspirational film last year, because again we thought, because of over 60s, it was all about, actually this is really fantastic, and then we then talked about, well, we need to take the UK government also to court, same sort of thing.
Yeah, that's why we're playing it today. I just remembered that. Yeah,
I think it's brilliant, because I think that one of the things that really annoys me is when people say, one of the things, there's quite a few, when people say, I care about the climate because I'm a granddad, or I'm a mother because I have children, and I think it really misses the point, because it's happening now with the frogs in the boiling water, and there is an immediacy to this. Like, I'm worried about what's going to happen in my lifetime. Recently, climate scientists have said that they think civil unrest is going to happen as potentially as soon as 2040. They're saying that now keeping global temperatures below 1.5 degrees is sort of out the window. Yeah. So I think it's really refreshing to see something like this, and to see older women standing up and making the case that this is, they will still feel the effects in their lifetime.
Yeah, very much
as
so,
we all will.
Yeah.
I also think it proves the importance of the European Commission on Human Rights, which has taken a bit of a hammering in the British press recently, because it's considered that we don't need it anymore, and we can do things better in Britain. Actually, we can't, and I think it's an absolute travesty that an organisation that was established primarily by Churchill and the British after the Second World War to prevent people from being ostracised and persecuted is regarded as a negative thing.
You've only got to look around to see how much ostracisation and negativity
Why would
there
you
is
want to get rid of it?
It's getting worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that anything to do with the move towards the right politically, do you think, which seems to be happening?
Absolutely, because it's a sort of reactionary thing. I don't think they can really rationalise why they want to get rid of it, other than it's not British, but it actually is.
Yeah, well, we haven't got a terrific human rights record, have we, over history?
I think it's also, though, it's sort of to me, it's one of the many symptoms of the general fragmentation, polarisation of our society and of our culture, that to me comes a lot of party politics is a lot to be responsible for, that sort of adversarial, combative, I'm right, you're wrong, driving everyone to the edges. And I think that's so I think it's a broader
I think
issue
it's
as well.
Because it's portrayed as overruling British law. It actually isn't really overruling. We have our own rule of law. This is something that goes beyond that for issues like this.
Yeah, as you say, and having an independent arbitrator actually is probably very valid when you're probably enshrined in local or regional skirmishes, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, so any more to say about the Climate Film Festival? Because
well, besides you all need to go and it's free and come along, but just so you're aware, the top submitter, as it were, country-wise, which was a bit of a shock to us perhaps, was Iran with 105. There we are.
They submitted 105.
105 films.
Wow.
India 82, UK 52, France 50. I mean, the French are just so creative. Brazil 49. So we went from 47 countries around the world, but you know, just an example between Canada, Colombia, New Zealand, Mongolia, India, Japan, Norway. You also had Russia, Israel. You had even countries under a lot of stress and other Ukrainian films. We've had all kinds from around. So it is interesting, I think, depending on what's happening in their country. Some of these creatives are still making films and still hopefully getting on, trying to find a way through their, you know, their current life.
I saw quite a lot of Italian films as well.
Yes, yeah, Italian film. And there's a very good Italian one there to do with fisheries and how they looked at, and they took that then to the European court and fought the cause about changing how you fish to make sure you have more sustainable stocks. So there's a lot of films that, the challenge we now have, we have 300 submissions which fit the bill, as it were, against the climate. How do we get them out there? How do we provide a platform, not necessarily the YouTube and others where you can hardly find anything, somewhere that people can dock and really share and the individual parts of the stories, and you know, hopefully help to be inspired from mangrove groves to lots of other things that people have been doing around the world. Absolutely,
well, that's
fantastic.
the kind of outreach thing, isn't it, that the festival is going to have to do. And there are other things that are connected to the festival, like there was a music competition, a local music competition. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, well, so we kicked that
very
one off.
Briefly.
Okay, sorry, I'll be very quick. So I kicked that off at the end of last year. So trying to get that, you know, when we have a festival at one end in May, as we lead into all the other festivals, so we can, you know, keep people bubbling and excited, I'm sure, in Frome, which we normally do. Then as you get towards the end, we had a Climate's at Christmas competition, because I like a Christmas song, even though it's about climate. And I then sponsor the winner a day in the Burt Yank studio. So again, it's trying to help person on that next stage, because musicians also don't have a lot of money, or a lot of them don't. How do we get them to and help them to move? So we've had, Scott was there, Sarah was there, I did the first, second and third this year, to give them all an experience, to help them launch their hopefully, you know, kickstart if they've already got a career, but help them to move forward.
Okay, well, why don't we hear one of those songs, because they put a lot into them, and we did play a little bit of Sarah's on the last show, but unfortunately it was we didn't have long enough to play the whole thing. So she's done a little introduction to this, which I'm going to play you now.
Hello, my name is Sarah Vian and I'm the lead singer in new project due to go in the Bellwether with Pete Vincent, a multi-instrumentalist from Yeovil. We've just released our debut single, There Is Always a Dawn, which came runner-up in the Climate's songwriting competition, and we won studio time to record it in the Burt Yank studio. The song is inspired by the dark satanic mills in Blake's poem Jerusalem and tackles the fossil fuel problem. Catch us at the International Climate Film Festival after party at the Cheese and Grain on the 19th of May.
In darkest lands where shadows dwell, lie Satan's chimneys, a fiery hell, where souls are consumed and innocence lost, where evil thrives at unimaginable cost. In these infernal halls where demons toil, the devil corrupts with his thick black oil. The air is dense with the stench of despair as the machine churns with deafening blare. So let us rise up against the devil's might. We'll banish his existence with glorious light. After the darkest hour there is always a dawn, and Satan's chimneys will one day be gone. rise for the dirtiest cash. Raging forest fires reduced to ash. Working for the man, just cogs in a wheel, bound by red tape and a cunning deal. Rivers run black and the sky turns to grey as the devil continues his relentless way. Snorting nostrils, bellowing smoke. We try to breathe but can only choke. So let us rise up against the devil's mind. We'll banish his existence with glorious light. After the darkest hour there is always a dawn, and Satan's chimneys will one day be gone. His grip on humanity may seem strong, but the power of love can never be wrong. Together we can rise against the forces of despair, to reclaim our world and banish Satan to his lair. So let us rise up against the devil's might. We'll banish his existence with glorious light. After the darkest hour there is always a dawn, and Satan's chimneys will one day be gone. So let us rise up against the devil's might. We'll banish his existence with glorious light. After the darkest hour there is always a dawn, and Satan's chimneys will one day be gone.
And congratulations to Sarah Vian for becoming the runner-up in that climate music competition organised by the Climate Film Festival. Now, later on, in fact, we're going to be playing another film, which is a music video by Scott O'Hara, who actually won the competition. So that's after this interview with Martin Dimery. Hello, Martin. Sorry, you've been sitting there. Well, you have had a little say.
Yep, thank you.
A little rant.
I've just enjoyed listening. That was a great song, by the way.
It's a good song, isn't it?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah. Okay. So you're no stranger to festivals in Frome. You ran the Frome Festival for 15 years as its director, but you handed that baton over. Was it last year or the year before?
Year before.
Time flies. Doesn't it?
Yep.
And now you're a county councillor on Somerset Council, and you're prospective parliamentary candidate for the Green Party in what will be our new constituency. How's that going to work? What is the new constituency? I don't hear much about it.
If you know Somerton and Frome, what it does is it chops off that enormous swathe of countryside between sort of the Bruton area all the way sort of southwest to near Taunton. It was a huge rural constituency, and we were the kind of ballast at the top end of it, where the actual population was. So Frome was very unbalanced, that particular constituency, and it's great to have Frome at the centre of the new one, which sort of incorporates the area to the south almost as far as Bruton, and part of Baines as well. And the part of Baines is Midsummer Norton, Radstock, Peasdown, and a bit south of Bath.
That's a bit odd, isn't it, having another unitary authority?
Well, yeah, it happens, but it's much better for us.
Is it?
Much better, because we have the natural. What contact do we have?
Us being Frome or us being the Green Party?
I'm sorry. Both, actually, but us being Frome, because we have much more contact with Midsummer Norton, Radstock. We go to those places, they come to us. We had nothing in common. With due respect to people of Langport and Somerton, they're much better off where they are with Glastonbury. So, from that point of view, it's a much more. It's actually almost a reconstruction of the 1945 constituency.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting, isn't it? If you look at what's happening in America, every 4 years, I think they redesignate all the counties in terms of how people vote.
Yeah,
and it's a very deliberate way of steering your party to the right voting people, because you know, like that. There's a lot of corruption involved in rezoning everything, I don't think it's the same in this country, is it? I mean, we tend to think of it in a different way.
Well, the Electoral Commission is supposed to be objective, and I did write to them a couple of times, and we considered it, and I said, this is what I think you should do with Frome, and I'm not suggesting they just listened to me, but they came up with almost exactly what I wanted. Oh, right. And that was because of the geographical issues. I mean, I stood in the by-election last year for Somerton and Frome, and what was interesting politically was, as the boxes, the count was in Shepton Mallet because nowhere was available in our constituency, so Frome was quite near. And the boxes started arriving and opening up, and we could see where the election was going from that. But we were doing well. The Green vote was looking good because they were coming in from Frome. And then gradually they started coming in from further and further away from Frome. Like there was a village.
It starts to change,
yeah. And I saw the box and I thought, there's not a single Green vote in there. And it was very Tory. And this area doesn't represent this area.
No.
This nearer geographical area. So from political point of view, yeah, I couldn't be better for us.
Okay. Now, we're talking principally about climate change here. What's the Green Party's take on climate change? Because obviously it's central to your philosophy, isn't it?
I think Fiona touched on this earlier. Really, I think it's having to change. I mean, I was in the Ecology Party before it was the Green Party back in the late 70s. That's how old I am, and throughout that time, it's been that sustainability. We need to use our resources wisely and intelligently, and we need to change the way we think about how we work and our practices, and it informs every aspect of our policy. Our work policy, our social services, our education, all of those things are affected by the environment. And I think now we've moved on a bit because sadly we are seeing climate change. We're seeing the actual results. It's painfully obvious what is happening, and that we have to now be in a position where not only are we trying to restrict global warming, but we're actually having to learn to live with it.
But also, aren't we going to have to legislate for it?
Oh, absolutely. Mm. Yeah.
I mean, this is what used to worry people about the Green Party 10 years ago, when we thought this wasn't really going to happen. Not in our lifetime, kind of thing. But now, of course, it really is. They used to be afraid of the Green Party because the Green Party had such radical ideas about how to save the planet. I mean, literally, they were, it was quite, it's very left wing, very sort of.
Well, you need to have legislative control of things. I mean, I have put my colours to the mast here. I think we have to nationalise the water industry. And it's absolutely appalling what's happening in the water industry. When a water company can take out loans against its collateral and pay its directors huge amounts of money, while at the same time losing money and expecting us, the people, to pick up the bill on that, at the same time as this is Thames Water in particular, thrusting sewage and effluents into the rivers and seas.
Right, so what's the connection with climate change here?
Well, the connection is actually broader than that. It's environment. It's not just about climate change, but the way we treat the planet. So it's no good having waterways that are blocked. That will cause life to die in the rivers and the oceans, and in so doing, then that increases the possibility of climate change.
Well, we've already got some fairly radical legislation going about cars, for example. We're not going to be able to and fossil fuel use and so on. So we have started to clamp down on that. Are we going to? Is this in time? Fiona,
no.
have you got any?
Oh, Fiona.
I have lots of. I don't think it's anywhere near radical enough. I think that if you look at the scale of the crisis that we're facing, this is the biggest problem that we have ever faced as a global community. Yeah. It is the biggest challenge, and I don't think I actually don't think any of the sort of many of the options on the table actually go anywhere near far enough. I think we need really big, bold, radical solutions, and we need them soon.
So are you going to supply that then, Martin?
Well, when I get in.
When you get in to be Prime Minister?
Well, we would hope the Green Party has an influence over government. You know, that it's not just a Labour landslide that's actually going to take it in the direction that's most popular, because that seems to be what they're focusing on. We would like to have an influence, and to do that we've got to get more MPs in. And there's confidence that we'll get a handful in.
But we want people to do stuff, don't we? I mean, as voters, we want some change. We don't want to carry on like this, and we don't want to feel that we can't do anything about it. So it's also about participation, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, Rupert, the bit that we're missing is that, one, we need to enshrine something. We need something which is outside. I personally think it may need a political party to put it into place, but you need to have a charter and a percentage of GDP which is ring-fenced outside the political short-termism, and that actually the country is signed up to, like we do with 2.5% of GDP for defence, for example. Same for climate, to enable us to really address it.
Otherwise,
not
we
to
never
play it.
will.
We'll just play it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the other part of that is also, I think, and this is where, obviously I'm an independent town councillor, but I'm not speaking on behalf of Independence of Frome. I also think we need to change how we make decisions, because I just don't think that the way in which we currently make decisions in the House of Commons, in that sort of party political, combative way, the solutions that are coming out at the moment are so small and so stupid a lot of the time to the problems that we have. We need to sort of change how we make decisions, and I think that's where the participative bit comes in as well. And I think there's a lot of that's really exciting about citizens' assemblies, for example, and sort of different ways of making decisions, because there was a bit of research done recently by More in Common, who found that across the board they segment society into 7 segments. So you have sort of progressive activist, traditional loyalist, etc., etc. And across the board, everyone wants more action on climate change. They just want it to be fair.
Right.
So they want policies. They just want those policies to be fair. And we need to find a way to kind of get to these solutions, and we're just not going to.
So, I mean, just to come back to you, Martin, because this is all to do with influence, isn't it? If you, let's say, for example, that the Labour Party gets voted back in as our government at the next election, how is the Green Party going to infiltrate the Labour Party?
Well, the more of them there are, the more likely they are to be able to lobby and cajole and call them to account. I mean, that's unfortunately the adversarial way we do politics. But also look at the last elections we've recently had in council and see that Bristol City Council has gone predominantly green. And that Stroud went predominantly green, and we picked up a huge number of... And green politics has been filtering in. Actually, don't forget that. Green politics has been filtering into the mainstream. I saw the difference. I noticed the difference as a county councillor before I became a unitary councillor, which is in 2017 with the Tories in charge. And they were all quite keen on courting our opinion on this issue, quite keen to support us.
They could see it was coming up as a major issue.
I don't think it was us necessarily. I think it was David Attenborough. I think they'd all been watching Blue Planet and go, oh my God, we've got to do something. And they started to think about it. Then they come to us and say, we're thinking about this, and we'd advise them. The politics of cooperation actually are the only way we're going to resolve this. Is what you're saying, Fiona, not conflict. The cooperation, conciliation, those are key words. We could actually work together. We've got to try and engender that sort of understanding.
Okay, so now my final sort of question to you is, you were a teacher at one point, and I suspect when you were a teacher, climate change, which was probably called global warming in those days, wasn't high on the agenda of the curriculum, because it was not seen to be maths or English or biology or whatever. So do you think that schools are doing enough now? I mean, have we got enough awareness in the young sector to start making a difference at that end?
I'm going to be very cynical now. It's not going to be a subject while we've got the Tories in power. It's never going to be a subject in its own right on the curriculum. When you've got a Prime Minister who suggests everybody over the age of 16 should be doing A-level maths, he's so incredibly out of touch with what young people are capable of and would like to do, that it's embarrassing. And so whether they're doing, I would imagine it comes in that teachers tend to be enlightened people, and they'll be looking at climate change through geography and through other subjects and science, undoubtedly. And I think young people today are as switched on about climate change as any of us.
Can I add something here? Because I've been working with Frome College quite a bit recently. They've got a new initiative called the Earth House Initiative, which is about sort of bringing sustainability onto the campus and into the classroom agenda. And I actually drafted you an email, Martin, along with the other Somerset councillors, and I think I didn't send it, because I've got a group of students coming to our town council meeting in June, which is in the middle of Great Big Green Week, which I'm going to get onto, to talk about the impact climate change is having on them and sort of talk through some ideas, because what really came out for me is how unheard they feel and how anxious they are about it, and they feel so powerless to do anything.
I mean, they must be anxious because it's constantly in their face, isn't it?
You think she was the Green candidate, wouldn't you?
Well,
she's independent. Did you know that? But no, that's the point. You know, it's filtering into all different political groups.
That is absolutely the point.
Yeah.
So finally, my last question to you, Martin, what do you think of the idea of a film festival?
Brilliant.
A climate film festival.
I went to see a Fringe event on Friday night. It was really good about the effects of climate and the environment on the Welsh coast. It was first transmitted for BBC Wales. What was it called, James? Celtic
Wonders of the Celtic
Well,
Deep.
we got a voice in the background.
There
Wonders
we
of
are.
the Celtic Deep.
Make sure we get it right.
Wonderful film with the director was there, director and producer was there. It was it was great, and I can see. I think the key to it is the competition. That the growth of that's been amazing, and competitions do draw people in. And you'll get people undoubtedly coming from various places, not necessarily from Iran, but they might be coming from near and to actually see some of these events and take part. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're going to have a little break now. I'm going to play you the winning track from the Climate Film Festival music competition. It's by Scott O'Hara. He's actually Australian, but he lives in Bridgewater now, I think. So not that far away. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it off the internet because that's the only copy I've got. So bear with me whilst I go off mic. Hang on.
He works his
Let it go, you're only human. It's alright, it's not the end of the world. It's not your fault, the water is rising. Forests are burning, people are dying. It's not the end of the world. Keep your eye on the silver horizon. Better days must come again. There's nothing so frightening as the unknown. Knuckles white, hold tight to all we own. And if the river runs dry, we'll deny it. Calling you, better late than never. From the edge of forever. Job forever. Don't rock the boat, the wind's in our favor. Bellow at the iceberg to clear the way. Shelter beneath warm blankets of memory, while the searing darkness falls before our eyes. And if there's a tear in the sky, we'll deny it. Calling you, better late than never, from the edge of forever, edge of forever, edge of forever. Never seemed so close, but it's still a bridge too far from host. Give it up or give up the ghost. It's your call, it's your call, baby.
There we have it. That's Scott O'Hara and his winning song, which was entered in the Climate Film Festival music competition. Now, sitting with us is Fiona Barrows. Hi, Fiona.
Hi. Sorry.
You can talk about what you came to talk about now, which putting another spotlight really on the climate crisis is the Big Green Week, which is coming up.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, so it is Great Big Green Week is from the 8th. I've got the 8th to the 6th of June, but that doesn't make sense. I'm presuming it's the 8th to the 16th of June.
Yes, I should have that. It'll be a typo.
In front of me, yes. And Great Big Green Week is a national campaign. It runs across the country, and in some towns there might be 1 or 2 events, but this being Frome, and with, as James mentioned earlier, the amazing amount of climate action that is happening in this town, we tend to make quite a big thing of it. So there are 40 events in total across the town in various different locations. It's a mix of free and paid events organised by community groups, individuals, and then also some companies as well. There are
I was fiddling around with something.
I can continue talking. There are 5 themes. We've got swap, share and repair, food and growing, nature, well-being and taking action, and so all of the events sort of fit under one of those headings. So
how are you going to engage the public in this? Is it very participatory? Is that the whole point?
It is. They're very visible, I think, first of all. So they're in all these different locations over town, and then because they also tend to come out in sort of different sort of email lists and different sort of marketing streams as well, because you're sort of Cheese and Grain and Hunting Raven are doing a book event as well. And it is about sort of celebrating, I guess, everyone who is taking climate action in town. And I also sometimes think it's also a really great way to sort of try a bit and see if you are feeling anxious about climate, if you are feeling like, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to get involved, then come along to a few events. You can meet people who are part of those groups who are already taking action, find out a bit more about what they're doing, and then maybe get involved long term as well.
Are these free, most of these events?
It's a mixture of free and paid. I'm not sure what the breakdown is.
Okay. So what would be your sort of key ones that you think people shouldn't miss?
Well, last night I booked myself a ticket to see Dale Vince, who Hunting Raven, our lovely local bookshop, who I presume Tina has organised to come and speak, and he's speaking on June the 14th.
About what?
He is a climate activist. He's recently written a book called Manifesto: The Battle for Green Britain, and he was one of the key pioneers of renewable energy. So I'm presuming he will.
Ecotricity.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again, Martin.
He's the MD or the chair, I can't remember, but he's in charge of Ecotricity.
Okay.
And
right.
they're based in Stroud, so one of the biggest renewable electricity companies.
Interesting.
And he's a big
Very
voice
impressive.
on climate action and climate change on social media, etc. So I signed up to that.
Where is that?
That is a good question. It is hosted, watch me quickly check, it is hosted by Hunting Raven, and it is at Frome Town Hall.
Frome Town Hall, right, okay.
I'm presuming in the council chamber. There's also a new CIC called Better Nature CIC. They are doing morning nature walks all week out in nature. It's £25 for all of them, and they start at 7 a.m, but that sounds like a lovely way to start your day.
Yeah.
There is a big green clothes swap, which is happening on June the 12th, and that is being organised by the Wardrobe Collective. And then Everyone Needs Pockets on Thursday the 13th is doing a for talks in haberdashery and textile swap. So sort of looking at different options there.
It's almost overwhelming what's going on in Frome, to the point where it's a bit like the Frome Festival. I find there's so much on, I can't cope. I can't go to most of it.
You should try running it.
I know.
I think the thing is to, we will publish programmes will be available soon, and to sort of go through and just highlight just a few things that take your fancy. It's very hard, I think, with climate action. I always think that it's about sort of finding your place in it and where your skills and experiences sort of align with your passions and your interests. So I think if you are sort of interested in nature, then have a look at that.
Can I just say something there? That actually people doing what they can do, making their contribution, whether it's through the arts, whether it's through running an allotment or things like that, is all very important. In my case, I think that my strength might be in going down to Taunton and banging on about it. But if you ask me to do some more practical things, I'm not very good at that necessarily. I think it's really important to understand people can make their contributions.
See how they can. And picking up on that, I mean, what we've done and we'll be happy to do this time, Fiona, we could show some films if you want some more things to happen. But we've been around filming the activities, so we do that free of charge. We're quite happy to do that and produce little videos, because again what we're trying to do with the community film element is that then will help with their voice out in the social media and other world and make it more visible. So we did that last time, so we're very happy to do that.
The Climate Film Festival is one element of the Climates, which is a movement in town, which originally was set up to get local filmmakers and recordists to do films locally about these issues for free, and to get together and do them, and that's what we've been doing.
I think the storytelling element is really important, is, as you say, sort of giving people ideas and inspiration and being able to show that there are things that you can do and you can get involved. And that's what Great Big Green Week is all about, and hopefully there'll be something in the programme that people will like the look of and will go along to.
Fantastic.
Okay, well, we're going to wrap this show up in a minute, because it's sort of coming up to 1 o'clock or 7 o'clock if you're listening in the evening. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming along. It's been a really interesting discussion, I think, and I hope that this is the last show before the Climate Film Festival, and it's probably before the Green Week. No, it's not. It's not quite the last one.
Can I just add that the programme events is on the Discover Frome website?
Yeah, I was going to say that was the last piece of information. So discoverfrome.co.uk.
Yes.
Or possibly, or check out the general website. Anyway, for the council, so it'll be on there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and all the everything about the film, the Film Festival is on the climatefilmfestival.co.uk website. So you can listen to the show again at 6 o'clock tonight, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, Saturday at 1 o'clock, or Monday at 11 p.m. And so come join us back in a couple of weeks for another edition of All About Frome. Till then, goodbye.
Thank you. Mother Nature is calling. Keep the environment clean, because this life is not funny. I believe in climate change. Let's make this planet a greener and a better place to live. World leaders come together so that we can have a climate agreement. Show show love to Mother Earth so that we can fight climate change. That's the real life, the real source, the real energy, the source that creates life.
Climate change is a reality threatening all mankind. Temperatures are rising, glaciers are melting. Why, mankind? Why, oh why? I knows Mother Nature's anger leads to catastrophes. Yo. Mother Nature is crying out for justice. Ooh.
Mother Nature is crying out for justice. Mother Nature is crying out for justice. A clean and a greener planet for I and I. A clean and a greener planet for all mankind.
A clean and a greener planet for I and I.
A clean and a greener planet for all mankind.
Mother Nature is crying out for justice. For justice.